Are you happy? Are you deep down satisfied with the person you are, how you're living your life, and the future as it appears today? Do you have a passion? Is there any one thing in your life that is so important that it makes prioritizing everything else simple? If the answer to any of those questions is no, do you have any idea why? Welcome to the Rivera Speaks podcast. I'm your host, Dawn Keegan, co-founder of the dating app Rivera and the nonprofit app Hero Harbor. Happiness, mine and that of others, is something that's always been very important to me. I've devoted my life to understanding how we take the things life throws at us and combine that with our own special gifts to come away with an experience that, while not always perfect, is one we are proud of and allows us the fewest regrets and least amount of heartache. Whether through my personal musings or conversations with guests, the aim here is not to find a one-size-fits-all to-do list of change, but instead a mindset that lessens our fear, reduces judgment of ourselves and others, and frees each individual to build the life that truly represents happiness for them. Thank you for joining us on the Rivera Speaks podcast. I've always worked to provide the most honest, helpful content I could in forms that reach the largest possible audience. And my extreme dislike of greed-driven organizations means I do so without ads or sponsors. But for us to continue improving with better guests and more consistent production quality, we need your help. If you have found any value in what we do and the content provided, please show us a little love by making a contribution directly to the podcast or as a tax-deductible donation on the heroharbor.org website. Thank you again for listening, and please enjoy the show.
Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls.
Some changes were made after this episode was recorded. The Rivera app I refer to during our conversation has returned to its dating roots, allowing us to offer a new product we call Hero Harbor. Our mission is to provide a safe, supportive environment for those men and women of our military as well as civilian first responders to connect with people who understand their unique pressures. We want to help them transition past the tough spots so they can get back out there and enjoy the world they've sacrificed so much to protect. You are listening to episode 1, where we talk safety, the importance of a support system, and the joys of making great connections. Some changes were made after this episode was recorded. The Rivera app I refer to during our conversation has returned to its dating roots, allowing us to offer a new product we call Hero Harbor. Our mission is to provide a safe, supportive environment for those men and women of our military as well as civilian first responders to connect with people who understand their unique pressures. We want to help them transition past the tough spots so they can get back out there and enjoy the world they've sacrificed so much to protect. Today I'm here with retired Army Ranger Remi T. Rivera. He is the co-founder and COO of Ratpack Worldwide Security. Welcome, Remi.
Yeah, how you doing, Ms. Dawn?
Fabulous. Okay, so first of all, give us a little background on your history, your military history, and then how Ratpack came about and how you met your co-founder, that sort of thing.
Okay, so first I'm from San Juan, Puerto Rico. I joined the military. I grew up, I was raised in San Juan, Puerto Rico with my grandma and grandfather. So growing up, he always talked to me about his, military service in Korea. He did about 31 years in the military, including the National Guard. And even though I didn't know my dad, he served in the Vietnam War. So growing up, I researched a lot about the military, the Vietnam War. I always was interested in doing that. So at 16 and a half, I joined the Navy. At 17, went to boot camp, and I served in the United States Navy as a Navy corpsman for 5 years, including some deployments to Cuba, Gitmo. Um, I went to the Mediterranean in the USS Kearsarge, and I served with Second Marine Division in OIF-2. Um, then after some service there, I moved to the Army because I want to be more. I lost a lot of friends of mine in the Marines, so I wanted to, I guess, get back in the action. So I went to the Army through the Blue to Green program, and I joined the Army, and I volunteer, work my way through the airborne classes, Ranger, indoctrination program, Ranger School, and I served in the United States Army Rangers around 6-7 years, which I deploy in direct action support of Afghanistan and Iraq, OIF-1, all the OIF-1s and all the OIF and pretty much all the OEF until 2010. And when I went and moved to the warrant officer part, and I served as a warrant officer for 1 year before I pretty much decided to get out of the military and try to pursue my career goal of becoming a doctor and finishing my bachelor degree. And during my service, I met Mr. J.R. McIntyre in Korea, and we hit it off. And we didn't know later on in life we're gonna be working together. And we met later then around 2014, where he helped me out. We went to a couple of deployments as executive protection officers, and we finally went to Puerto Rico in support of Hurricane Maria, the aftermath, and we saw the craziness of the of the security companies and how they didn't take care of the agents or the clients. So we come up with the idea of Ratpack, and we are here now trying to build this amazing company as a two-headed monster. We got Jill as the person that presents the company. I'm behind doing the operations, learning everything that I need to learn, paperwork wise and operationals wise, to try to build this company.
Before we began recording, you and I were talking, and we had never traded any information, never had a conversation, yes. Knew very little about each other. And yet within moments, we had made this huge connection over not only the struggles that we both faced getting out, struggles that we never anticipated, because we're hard charging military people. We don't need help.
Yes,
we get out, all of a sudden we find things are different. So we both went through depressions and just anxiety that we never anticipated. We also connected over the fact that we're overachievers. Not everybody in the military is, but as an Army Ranger for you, as a Marine for me, it just overdoing it in every aspect of our lives comes natural. So because of that, we expect so much of ourselves. Hands down, I expect way more of me than I expect of anyone else in my life. Mm-hmm. And that it's a really difficult position to put yourself in. And that's one of the reasons that one of the big reasons that we're looking at the military right now and attempting to help get Veramore, in my case, Veramore, into the hands of people like you and I, because it's once they're out, unless they get lucky like you did with JR, we lose them. We're losing them at the rate of 22 a day because of that, feeling of disconnected. So I was just, it was so amazing just to have that conversation with you, and we could have gone on forever and ever. And
yeah.
A, I want to say thank you for that. And B, I want the veterans and any other military who are listening to this to realize that, it's okay to struggle. It's okay to, it doesn't mean anything less of you because, and in fact, it means more. It means that, we have a camaraderie and we need each other to get through to the next day and see that sun come up and help each other. Again, we've been helping each other throughout the entire time we're in. Why should we not help each other once we get out? Okay. So tell me about the name, first of all, Ratpack. How'd you guys come up with that?
So honestly, that was a name that JR came up with. We were talking about it. I would have ideas of business and structures, and adding to what you say, I work with another companies. So after military there, I got out of the military. Army Ranger. I don't need no help. I don't need apply for my benefits and nothing like that. So I didn't do it like that. I work with other people and trying to pretty much, when I remember going to a company, be like, hey, I work for you for free, and I work for free as a driver. In less than 6 months, move up until marketing director, even though I never done marketing. I learned everything online. So when I met with, I was looking for that connection that you talk about. Who can I wake up every day and feel happy about working and changing something, making money, but also changing the life of people? And what is our connection in the community is the military, the military veterans. So JR came up with the name Ratpack. And the first time I was like, okay, I don't know. But the meaning behind it, he changing it, it was a group of the 1920s singing group with.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Dean Martin and yes. Oh gosh, I can picture him. I can't think of it. Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin. Yes.
Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, Bing Peter Crosby, Lawford, Joey Bishop, and Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
So how these different guys from different cultures, different backgrounds come together to pretty much be the icon of the age.
Yes.
So a lot of people consider rats, even though in the Asian communities, they're supposed to be wise. A lot of people associate rats with nastiness. But what happens at night when the lights come off?
Right.
The rats come out and pretty much secure the area. They're the ones who are doing everything that nobody else wants to do, and they're doing well. That's what they propagate so easily. So that's the story behind the Ratpack. Then we have the chill. We have to do with the security. We have the war behind, because we want to bring Ratpack and security awareness as a security guard, as a security agent, but also to the masses. Teach people about security and awareness. Like you and me were talking about it, and we talk about having that with people goosebumps of that what you call sixth sense. But it's a Marine officer that wrote the book, the shipper, the duck shipper, something like that. It's a Marine colonel, and I can remember that. It's called heuristics. And you feel it. If you come into, if you see somebody come into an elevator and you have this little stuff, don't feel embarrassed to not get in the elevator with that person if you're a single woman. It don't have nothing to do with race, economics, personal bias, but it's your body, safety. Your experience is telling you, hey, like in combat with the Marines, hey, don't take the left there, don't take the why? You don't know how to explain it, but yes, it's a scientific proof experience that is just your experiences and what you have gone through that get you to that. And that's what we're not bringing to the masses, that idea that security is everybody's concern, and doing the small things and learning the basics can really save lives and serve your family. If you don't care about everybody else, at least you and your family and your babies can be safe and can be secure.
I love you. Again, I am sending you, we're a few hundred miles away, but I am sending you a big giant hug, because you have no idea how you just set me up for my next question. So one of the things I saw you guys had posted the other day on social, I can't remember if it was IG or Facebook, who knows, was you out doing something with homeless, like, giving giving food or something anyway. And it occurred to me at the time that you guys spend a lot of time away from your families, because you're a startup. You just began not too long ago, and it's a lot of work. And so what it got me wondering is, what do you do? I know that JR has, I don't know the rest of his family life, but I do know he mentioned on Adam's podcast that he has children. And so I was wondering what you guys do what have you taught? What things have you put in place?
Yes, I can tell you. Yes. So I was like probably like you and most of us, when I got out of the military, I was during the military, I did about 9 deployments, 6
Mm-hmm.
combat deployments, about 38 months in combat, and then 3 other deployments. So total
Mm-hmm.
about 64 months away
Mm-hmm.
from the family. Plus, my wife was in the military as well, as in the
Mm-hmm.
Navy corpsman. So we didn't live in the same house, separated. Since I was a kid, I was teaching my daughter. She's 11 years old now. We put in karate at the age of 3, and know that the little like little kids karate. I told the instructor at that time I want her to go to the regular class,
Mm-hmm.
and she did, and she did amazing, and she did gymnastics. Then
Mm-hmm.
in the house was always a weapon, and we always broke it down, and we talk about safety. We talk about the way we park the cars, how we
Mm-hmm.
work in the middle, how if I go to put gas, my wife moved to the driver's seat, close the doors, and somebody
Oh
comes
my
try to
gosh, I
stop it,
love it.
you take
Yep.
you take off, because you have to. We talk about
Right.
death because I was always deployed, so we talk to her. So my daughter is 11 years old, but she's a yellow belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
She does MMA fighting, and now
Oh
we're
my,
moving to a 3-2-1 shooting. So
I
she's
love
very
that.
aware. She's got good grades. She has the nicest spirit. She don't have no
Mm-hmm.
mean bone in herself because
Right.
we talk about
Right.
respect, no bullying. But we tell them, hey, you need to be aware that safety is important. As a
Right.
female, she's small, I'm short guy, so
Mm-hmm.
learning those things and be aware of that. No means that you go around, feeling that you're the
Right.
biggest person, but
Well,
understanding that you're ready to anything that comes your way.
that's the thing, and I think this is something, and because first of all, thank you and congratulations on raising a strong, confident daughter, because too many of us don't do that. We train either, you know, overtly or without realizing it, our daughters to be fearful and to be, I've been asked in the past more than once, how did I, deal with being in the military, being when I was stationed in during Desert Storm out in the field. I was the only female in this massive unit. In my GP tent, there was just me, and I'm like, have you met me?
Yes.
When I walk, I have, my shoulders are squared, my chin's up, and it's like, absolutely, you could snuff me out. However, you're going to be sorry. It's like so the point is, if you don't have to be, when you have the confidence that you're
Correct.
building in your daughter, you don't have to be ugly or mean or anything, because that yes, we are not able to protect ourselves from everything, because again, I'm 5'4", and
yes.
But if you walk with that, the knowledge, and you show people that it's not worth the trouble. Let me go find somebody who is afraid and whatever. And that other thing too is, having your head on a swivel. I'm never afraid. I've gone out because I am a chronic insomniac, so I'm frequently out in the middle of the night. I don't worry about where I go though, because I'm always looking. I am careful. I lock the door. If I'm stationary, I lock the door in my car. When I get out, I keep an eye on. The same way I drive. I'm aware of everything around me. And, that's the way we should be anyway. But
and giving yourself a fighting chance,
Yes,
a lot of people
exactly.
is like, a gun won't do nothing, a gun won't do this, and a gun won't do that, but
Right.
It's a fighting chance. And I like what you say about looking tough. I think it's a notion of security guards, and I think that's a difference that makes Ratpack.
Right.
We're not looking with the tough big guys.
Right.
We're looking for agile people that were great communicators, that knows how we call it Brazilian verbal jiu-jitsu, that they be able to de-escalate every situation, because they're so aware of they're capable to do with their hands or their tools, but they know if they're getting in that situation, who's protecting their client, correct?
Right.
Who's protecting their family if you're in a fight? Because in combat, a lot of people attack one side to try to get the whole security one side and come the other side.
Right.
So I'm not trying to get fighters. We have a lot of females that we're training them to be executive protection agents, because what you're going to expect for executive protection agent, you don't see it coming.
Right.
And a funny thing that I learned when I was a private in the Rangers, we call it the 3 unknown rules of the Rangers. First of all, is to look good. Second rule is to know where you are. And third rule is, if you don't know where you are, look good.
Right, exactly.
Because if you look good, if you look that person knows what he's doing,
right,
you're already a deterrent. They're already thinking about the next target, this next soft target. It's like, why am I gonna spend my time in this guy that looks, this female that looks like they know what they're doing? when I get, the next corner person
I
that is
love
falling
it.
asleep, or
Yeah.
he's not dressed up with the shirt
Yep.
tucked in or the boots
Yeah,
shine. You know
go
what I mean?
for
So,
go for the low hanging fruit. Go for the easy, easy pickings. And again, and that's why people, men and women both. Like you said, you walk with that confidence. You walk with that, I know that purpose. I know where I'm going, kind of thing. Even if you don't, fake it till you make it. But as we already talked about, building a business is unbelievably difficult. I love the level of detail, because I mean that's what those are the conversations I love most, is when we start talking about some little feature, and how we really start batting back and forth how it will impact the people that will use it, and how do we most keep them safe, and how do we make it easy, and that's so it says but when your mission, like mine, is driven by a degree of responsibility for the safety and happiness of others, it can make the down days even more challenging. One thing when you give up on yourself, but it's something totally different when you give up on others, when you feel the need to protect and take care of and save, for lack of a better term, other people. Then when you wake up with that on your heart, if you feel like you're not succeeding, it makes it even tougher. So what is your method for, because I know you have those days, you can go at it 100%, but there's just some days that you just have those little tiny doubts. So what do you do on those days?
So first of all, for me was first being lucky to have a friend like JR that opened his hand, and the same struggles he went through, I was going through. So imagine he being in the recovery motion, and I was starting at that moment. So it's like I call it, hey, you're a year ahead of me, correct? On
Right.
understanding that. So he identified that. He's like, man, I've been here. Hey, Remi, come to my house and stay with me. That gave me a break with the family problems that we're having.
Right.
Then he set me up with the Wonder Warrior Project program. And I was still like, man, you're going to send me to this and connect. And I went to a outing with them, and a retreat. And I still was like fighting it. Man, this is a lot of group, and I call it sad stories. I hate this. And then he sent me out with a group with the Wonder Warrior Project that is called the caregiver program care network program for soldiers. And it was so interesting because I went to the Rush Hospital, an outpatient program, and they have yoga, and they have meditation, and they have group counseling. And I'm there with this Ranger Marine / face, but after listening and listening and listening and seeing that so many other people were struggling with it, and one day it hit me. This is like a flu. You understand your symptoms.
Yes.
Okay, I'm overwhelmed. I'm working too much. I haven't slept. Like you talk, chronic insomnia, or I feel a pain in my chest because somebody is annoying me, or I'm in an open space, and like I went with family to Universal Studios in train, and I understand then the chemical reaction in my brain of the PTSD does, and learning all these things plus maybe medication, I was able to understand that. I'm not perfectly subject matter expert on it, but I'm a little ahead now on the point. And then putting that with my excitement, like you were saying about businesses, and I always want to do business and create a business. The only way I think parents can be happy is going back to meaning, correct? I can work for anybody, I can do anything, but having a meaning, how can I connect? So my meaning is giving back to the Veteran community. We want to use this knowledge. So yeah, you come back to the security industry. We help you in the transition. We're creating, we'll be able to build an academy that is going to have the license, which is security license, armed security, talk about physical psychological profiling, talk about the CCW, talk about all this stuff. But one thing that we need to put is, hey, before anything else, talk to me about what you're going through.
Yes.
And if we identify that maybe the person's going through, homelessness or depression or marital status, I know for our experience what is the easy way for you to get your benefits that you deserve. So that's what's in Ratpack. We have put up over 10 people in school, because the first thing is, I don't have money, I don't have nothing.
Right.
So hey, go to school. That's $1,800 a month that you have available for you. Then after that, we take you to the VA and help you out with the paperwork and connect you with different organizations that's gonna do the paperwork. Then third, we help you with, hey, let's go out work out together. Let's work out. Let's do this, because now you have a guy that probably gain weight or doesn't
Right.
feel active. Now he's going to the gym. His body's changing. He's
Right.
starting to raise his head up high. He's dressing up again. So now that person is getting that confidence that you were talking about early. And finally, you can work with us or you can work with anybody else, but connect to the community.
Right.
You have to have that connection for free. Like I like to do chess, teach chess to kids, or
Right.
volunteer with the American Legion, or go to the USO and volunteer, just because I need to know that my work, entrepreneurs, we work 100 hours for ourselves, so we don't work 40 hours
Right.
for
Right.
nobody else. But I need to do something that connects me to communities to makes everything worth it. Correct?
Right.
Because
Yes.
profit's gonna come, but
Yes.
what I'm giving back, and that's what we do that with the homeless or with veterans.
Right.
We want to create a life cycle of support
Mhm.
to do whatever you want, so we can get you back to your prime when you were in the military, because they have so many skills
Right.
that they can use, and they just don't feel confident yet to use it in the civilian world.
I have to say real quick that this is my first interview for the Veramore. Now I don't know. It may end up being the first one launched, but I could not have scripted this better. I could not have requested a better guest for this, and I can't wait to meet you in person. But so you said a couple of things that I just loved. You pointed to JR giving you a purpose, a job, something to do, because that was the problem. When I got out, I became a student, and as I said, I was married to a reconnaissance Marine who loved me very much, but he didn't know how to help me, and I again felt was just disconnected, and I needed a purpose. And so if we can take these young men and women who are about, ideally we'd like to get them while they're still active, because before and get them that support system before they actually need it. But the important part is, we get these newly separated veterans and connect them and give them a purpose and again to help them transition, because initially they're going to be kind of lost. And so it's like, while you're figuring out your purpose, while you're figuring out the next stage of your life, and something that people really need to understand is this difficulty in transitioning is not limited to any demographic. It's not male, it's not female, it's not combat related. I mean, you could have never left U.S. soil and still experience it, because that again, it's that going from being a part of something, lots of us don't even like the military, lots of people can't wait to get out, but still you are part of something that you understand and are familiar with, and you come out to something that you've kind of lost touch with. It's perfectly okay, acceptable, and understandable. And so we give them a purpose and just keep them busy, keep them getting up every day and doing something until they figure out what their next step is.
Yeah,
and then, again, yes. And then we have those of us out here like you and I and JR who've been out a little while. I call us veterans. And we've managed to get over that hump, whatever way. And it makes us feel good. I always say there's no such thing as a selfless act, with one exception. If I make you smile, it makes me smile and I feel good. That's not selfless. Anything I do that I can get any sort of benefit and joy from, that's not selfless. However, the exception is if you throw yourself in front of a bullet or a grenade and you are not around to enjoy the accolades or the self-satisfaction or whatever it is, that is the only, in my opinion, true selfless act. I get incredible joy from giving hugs, from smiling, from any connection that I can make, anything that I can do to so it's a win-win situation all the way around. Everybody benefits, and then eventually you start moving out into the civilian community, and you don't have to be a part of, because some people just, I don't want to be a part of the military forever. You don't have to. Just let us help you make that transition, and you can come back whenever you want, but we're here for you. And the important part is we help you get into that next phase and let you figure out, and you may never even mention being a veteran again, but we just want to get you past that place.
Yes. And if you're an entrepreneur or you're thinking, what is the most successful business in the world? It's the United States military. So what to try to reinvent the wheel? Why not use those skills and that structure that you have and bring it out as a structure? correct? And then after that, you put your own flavor, but it provides that base. And then after you will evolve in your own business or your own person or your own
Right.
leader. Even being non for profit, be a community leader, be a PTA president, just being a mom and a dad. That's enough leadership there. I told them everybody's executive protection agent. You walk when I walk with my family, or you walk with your kids, or your kids walk with their friends. You always walk in natural way. You walk normally.
Right.
You put your family inside, away from the road, put them in your little bubble in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
You maintain distance from other groups. You open the door. That's part of the executive protection. Everybody's executive protection agent. They just haven't realized it, but it's just part of the nature of being the different roles in society that we become part of it. If we can pass that to our clients and try to make them understand, money wise, you want a security agent. You don't want a bodyguard. You want a correction. You don't want a bouncer. You don't want a tough guy.
Right.
You want a executive agent that understands communication, understands the process, but also pay them right. Because why are you gonna pay the guy $10 an hour to protect $2 million investment or company? Doesn't make sense.
You reminded me something. You reminded me of something that you triggered earlier with regard to, so you guys, I mean, I've seen some pictures. Some of these guys are big. I mean, I really want these guys around me, if nothing else, just because, for the just eye candy. But but what you said is so important is you're not just a big giant piece of meat. You're not just muscle. You guys have brains. It's the constant, the knowledge and the awareness, and you can adapt to a situation. So it isn't just about somebody who can jump in front and stop the bullet. No. Anybody can do that. But what you guys provide is this situational awareness that maybe prevents having that bullet shot in the first place. Again, I get the fact that some of us get out and whether it be because of what we went through or whatever, we're not really ready to be a part. However, there's so many people out there, so many civilians and such that are clueless when it comes to the military, and because of that, there are, I've heard a dozen times how, there's so many resources. There are, the resources aren't easily, they're not connected well, so we don't know where to find them. But the important part is that as a veteran, you as a veteran, me as a veteran, the companies that we run, we are truly in support of veterans. There are so many organizations that, all they're looking at is that multi-trillion-dollar military marketplace.
Yeah, it's available for them.
Exactly.
For me, it's so many programs available out there. So yes, it's programs available, but I know why. But I'm very good with paperwork. I'm the operations guy. I read everything. I fight everything. I go to the patient advocate when I see something is wrong with my care.
Right.
But I got Marines friends of mine that can go to the VA with their hole in their brain, no legs, right, and they bring their paperwork. It's like you need to bring more proof. And the only thing they mean is, hey, fill out the application in vomit and do this and do that. Right. But they get so frustrated with that. Right. And the reason just me inferring that they make it sometimes that difficult is because it's really expensive. So you get to the point that, hey, only 25-50% will use the benefits. Right. So we can afford it, because it would be really expensive if 100% of the veterans use the GI Bill, for example. Right. Correct? So they made that. So my goal is to push through, regardless, never take enough for an answer. Right. I never take and I keep pushing, and I was like, next. Right. Some people's like, you get so lucky. I don't get so lucky. No. I just don't take enough for an answer. The worst thing I can do is get a no, and then I write a Congress inquiry, and somebody will get the ball rolling. And that's what I want to be there. I want to be that person that shows them, hey, don't take for an answer. But at the same time, I cannot spend my energy trying to helping somebody that doesn't want to help. Correct? Right. Because it takes a lot of energy. That's
the thing with the VA and some of these, and again, as I said in my interview yesterday, I've heard so often that, the VA doesn't care. And it's like, I don't believe that. However, not in the big sense. However, some of these people have been in that same government position for
Yes.
so long, and they see so many people that and we aren't as we've been so it's kind of like it's old news, it's
Yes.
not, and so those of us
You get desensitized,
right
and then
exactly
it's
that's
so hard to
exactly
fire
it.
people in the government, correct? Because unless you kill somebody, you don't get fired, and that I
Right,
think that's
right,
wrong too about it. Because I think people should I believe in getting evaluated. In the military, you get evaluated every 3 months, correct? And you don't either make rank or you don't make money. So
right,
that part. At the same time, I think that there's been a lot of changes, like the program choice programs coming through. It's other things. It just takes that veteran of having support and helping them, and that's when Ratpack wants to come in. We
right,
want to help you navigate that part. And our training academy, we will try to open by February. It's gonna be in Tampa at the beginning, but we have groups already in Puerto Rico getting
right,
set up. We got groups in California, and this is a big movement. We want to put a agent, ex-veteran, in every location that we can, and teach every mom, dad, kid. Like imagine having a babysitter class when you learn your CPR and your basic life support, but you also learn security. Okay, I'm gonna check the
right.
doors first. I'm gonna check the windows. Then I'm gonna have my phone ready on here, always charged, and give it that idea to a babysitter. 16, 15 years old. You teach them that class. You teach moms shooting through the purse. The way you park, combat park, it seems so funny. Some does. It's important to teach those
I
things.
love it.
And
And so really, because honestly, when I just thought you guys were, like you said, just, a big, giant walking group of, meatheads, and no offense to your intelligence, but I just assumed that that's pretty much all you did. But I love your mission. It is absolutely amazing. And something that I want the people listening to this, the veterans and such, something I really want them to internalize is that whatever job you had, it doesn't make any difference. Not everybody's cut out for it. I think everybody should be willing to, if called upon. But the thing that's important is that though there are some of us we can handle whatever it is. We can handle the combat. We can handle the crises. That's just for whatever reason, the way we are wired. But you can go an entire career as and be an amazing airman, sailor, Marine, or soldier, and yet never be combat,
yeah,
quality.
I was
We are not
yeah.
all cut out.
I joined the Navy, and my job before I get volunteer, because I have some issues with volunteering, even though the Navy says never again volunteering yourself. I,
Right, right.
I was a surgical tech and urology technician, and I could have stayed there 15 years, get my 2 master's degree, retire,
Right.
whatever. But I'm like, no, I want more. I just had that calling, correct? So I
Right.
volunteer, finish airborne, get destroyed, combat, going back, combat. But I always tell my Rangers, because Rangers are very proud, very strong, very
Right,
my
right.
Marines is like, hey, never look at nobody else worse. Do you want to be the person
Right.
cooking? Do you want to be the person doing the paperwork? Do you want to be the person
Right.
doing the
Exactly. We
driving
need
for the
them all.
gas? No, everybody's needed. And if you're not happy with your job, go change your MOS. The same
Right.
thing in life. The same thing. You're not happy. I have done marketing, being in a business. I'm finishing my bachelor degree in biomedical science. I want to do medicine. Now I got this. But you have the tools and the options to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, ask for help. And
Right.
Ratpack wants to be there to help our agents, to help them through the process, because we have the experience and we have the motivation and we have the
Right.
want to do it.
Right.
And that's why we wanna pass it to everything. We go from the house to hip hop concerts to dispensaries to schools. And I'm trying to tell. I went to my daughter's school system in Clay County, and they didn't want to put no veterans in the school system to protect them and stuff like that. The police is here. The police. It takes 7 minutes to bring a police person. When you have
Right.
people, regardless of the MOS, that have been trained on protecting others, correct? So just for mere deterrent, putting a veteran in a school, group of veterans, a school that most of them are retired and will volunteer just to protect the school, is no, it makes sense.
Well, and the thing too is, we talked about earlier, the confidence that you derive from having that, being able to having those skills and being able to do that. But as importantly, if everyone in the school is prepared, then, you know, and they're going about their day, you know, if you want to attack a school, if you want to attack anything, and you know there are, you know, particular guards, particular what, you know who to target. But if everyone in the organization is in at least some way trained to see and to react, you know, then you don't know, you can't target.
Yes, when I go to my school, and I'm in Florida, correct? I moved from California to Florida because I love my Second Amendment freedoms and rights. And I'm in my college class, and I'm like, who has a, you know, first the schools, a lot of schools have laws, but who has a weapon here? It's 17 of us here, correct?
Right.
And we are in Florida, and it's our right to have a weapon, and we should be trained to the minimum with the CCW training. Even if you're not trained, you still have the right as an American to have a weapon. Why we don't do it? What is the idea that somebody else will be protecting us from whatever danger? Because the person comes to that door and 17 of us are ready, correct? What's the deterrent? Okay, I'm done, correct? And that's my mentality, not necessarily weapon-wise, but training. When you go to school and you do consultation, which we do too, or any business, we can consult. We can teach you, hey, I think this is a weak side. You know, you should have the doors with the locks in this side, the cameras. This is a, you know, should be like, and we consult with you, and we prepare your team to take care of their own security, like in churches. You know, everybody, not everybody can be praying at the same time. Identify those persons that probably is not gonna get blessed at that time. They're gonna come to the next service, but at that time, their goal is to protect, you know, the people that are not receiving the blessing, and they need to be aware that their job at that moment is protect those you know, those friends and family members. So it takes that. That's what we want to bring to the masses.
I love it. Okay, so I have a couple questions. First of all, if you could ask everyone in the world, we're going to assume that Veramore Speaks is going to go viral and everybody hears it. If you could ask everyone in the world to do a single thing that would help to make them safer and or happier, what would it be?
Safer. Just think about your environment. Correct. Think about what you're doing every day to improve yourself. You know, we go to the gym, most of the people, so that's one. We read or want to be intellectually ready, but also learn about your community. Learn about basic gun. A lot of people that don't believe in guns or things that guns are being away to everybody. Go and apply. Even if you don't buy one, go and apply to get your gun license. Go and apply to buy a gun, and you will understand the system. It's not as easy. And if you have family, go and take a CCW class or a active shooter class with your family as a group, and talk about this conversation. Sit there in the table of your home and have the conversation. Hey, what would you do if this happened? What would you do if that happened? And I think that first of awareness will lead you to a plan.
Well, you know, that's the thing. It's like, you know, we fear what we don't understand. Knowledge and education is the cure to fear. Once you understand what to do, you don't have to own a gun, but if you know what to do when one is tossed in your hand or when one is pointed at you, then, you know, then you are no longer, you've taken the power of that fear away.
Like guns don't automatically shoot if they fall in the ground, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Things like that. And then for be happy, you need to be aware of what you want to do. Everything you need to be. It's one life, correct? Identify what makes you happy the best, meaning be a family member, be an entrepreneur, be if you're gonna be the best, you know, car washing person in the world, be the best, correct?
Exactly.
Learn everything about, you know, the tires, the paint, the best soap in the market, the best rag in the market, and go every day to be the best. Not for nobody else to see you, not for nobody else, for self-awareness, to know that at the end of the day, hey, I was the best of whatever I do. And
what you do isn't nearly as important as why you do it and how you do it. Okay, so tell us really quick how to find you, how to find Ratpack, how to, you know, reach out to you guys on the internet, social, any of that kind of stuff.
So Ratpack will be www.ratpackworldwidesecurity.com, and then you can go at Instagram at Ratpack Worldwide Security, and on Twitter at Ratpack worldwide security as well. And our CEO, Mr. JR McIntyre, you can check on him in IG at Tactical JR. JR spells JAYR. And then me in IG, you can find me at Ranger Remi. Remi spells REMMI. And
I love that name.
you can call us at any time. You can ask us for any questions. We are an open source, meaning if you want to create your own security company, I'm gonna be there and help you out. But we wish you to join us, because I think our mission and vision is something.
It is super important.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will make sure all of that is in the show notes. And then my last question here, and this is one of the features in Veramore, because we want to sort of help anyone who feels, they're not quite sure how to reach out. They don't quite know what question to ask, when they want to connect with somebody. We have this cool little feature called conversation starters. And if you go in, you get you go in to meet with someone or to connect with someone and start a conversation. To the left of you get the typical chat little window that we know in text and everything else. To the left of that is a light bulb. And if you tap on the light bulb, it comes up and you get a number of conversation starters that you can cycle through. So I just cycled through a whole bunch of them, and I'm just picking one more or less at random. And I'm going to ask you that question for you to answer, and then we will wrap up here. So
yes.
If you had an account in Veramore, which I know you will have very, very soon, I would just send it directly to you. But since you don't yet, then I'm just going to read it. So who do you call first when you have good news? The very first person. You get excited, you get $1 million check, you just won that $1 billion lottery. Who's the first person you call?
I call JR McIntyre.
Wow, that says a lot. That's amazing.
So
that is cool.
So I call him, and it's lately we have so many good stuff. Hey, I was reading about Veramore. We have something called date night. Everybody thinks that an executive protection agent is only for the rich, the famous, and stuff like that. Right. No, for the same price that you will pay for a taxi or for a Uber back and forward, you can call us. We will send a executive protection agent training tactical driving with weapons permit and everything, and they will go there for your date night. We'll open the door, have flowers for your girl or your man, and they will take you to the club or whatever you want to be there. We will have the car ready at all times. We'll protect your bag. We will take you to your tables. And if you want us to plan your date, we will do that too as a consultation fee. But it will be $75 an hour and whatever extra. But it's a great feature.
I have to say this. Okay, so Remi, folks listening to this, Remi is just about the same age as my son. However, I'm telling you right now, I am madly in love with this man. I've never seen him. I don't know what he looks like, but I am madly in love with him. Because you just set me up for one last thing. So within Veramore, we have a scheduling feature, and you can schedule one person or multiple people, and it's a safety feature, because that way you don't have to give out your phone number, you don't have to give out your email address, anything like that. You can schedule it right within there. And in very soon upcoming versions, what we'll do is that you schedule the activity or the date or whatever right there within there. Then you show up, you check in. 24 hours later, if it's a dating profile, and if it's a friend profile, we won't send out the reviews. But if it's a dating profile, 24 hours later, you get an objective review saying, were they on time? Did they look like their picture? That sort of thing. But again, back to the safety thing, as an app, we know that, you have shown up to this place. For the women, especially, we have something in case of emergency, and the men can use it too, in case of emergency things, such that if you're feeling uncomfortable, you can let us know immediately that there's a problem. And you'll have two options. You can either reach out to the pre-saved, your best friend or whatever for whatever, you set up ahead of time, come get me, text me, call me, whatever. Or if it's more serious, you can go directly to the authorities. But, that way you don't have to alert somebody by texting or calling, you don't have to sneak off to do those sort of things. And as far as the date thing, it's just, I just love how your safety thing, that I love the way you guys think. You're big thinkers, and it's just phenomenal. So Ratpack and Veramore are going to be a perfect
I'm looking forward.
match.
That would
So
be awesome.
I'm very excited. Okay, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you again, and we will be together again soon. JR invited me to walk with you guys in the upcoming Tampa Veterans Parade on Veterans Day. So at the very least, I will meet you then.
We're looking forward for you to come with us, and I'm excited. Your energy and your passion and your work.
You'd never guess I was 52, would you?
No, definitely not.
it turns a lot of people off.
No,
it's not going away. I'm sorry, I can't help it. So, all right, it was wonderful. I will talk to you again soon.
Okay, ma'am.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you for spending this time with us. If you enjoyed the content we shared with you, please subscribe, review, and share this show with your friends. Veramore, the dating app, and Hero Harbor, the social connection tool for heroes, are both in the app stores. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as Veramore, Veramore_app, or Hero Harbor.